Watch these two loops side by side, same swing, different arm. One tiny gap between elbow and body decides which ball actually explodes. Today, I want to talk about acceleration in the loop, the moment that decides how fast and how heavy your ball actually is. Yesterday, we looked at the backswing and how to stay relaxed through it. That was the first half. Now we get to the second half, how that relaxation turns into speed. Because relaxing isn't the goal on its own. Relaxing is what gives you room to accelerate. So today, we're going to look at the key to acceleration, what the hand and the forearm are really doing at the moment of contact. Remember the rule, 3 things relaxed, 3 things not high. The shoulder can't be high. The elbow can't be high. The wrist can't be high. Keep all 3 down. Now let's talk about the key to acceleration, specifically the acceleration of the hand. Let me ask you this. If 10 out of 10 is perfect, watch this one movement here, right at contact. Not the whole stroke, just this acceleration. How would you score yourself on that? 10 out of 10, what would you honestly give yourself? And be clear about what I'm asking. I'm not talking about power. Power is the whole body working together. Acceleration is different. Acceleration is this, right here, in the instant the ball is on the racket. That single moment is the most important detail in table tennis. Most players are far too even, far too constant. The arm travels at one speed, from start to finish. Next, this is the most important thing. A couple of years back, my partner would demonstrate, and people would criticize his backswing. And I told him straight, if you don't fix your forehand backswing, you'll never generate the power you need. Look at his build. A lighter player simply can't match the raw strength of someone much heavier. Some things they can lift that we can't, that's absolute strength, and you won't win that battle. So what actually changed in his backswing? Look at the forearm. Before it was held stiff, carried up like this. Now it hangs down loose. That's the whole difference. Think about it this way. Your forearm is only truly relaxed when the hand drops low. Hold it up here, or here, or here. It's tense in every one of those positions. The moment you carry the arm, you're using muscle to hold it there. Relax first. Relaxation is what creates the space and the time to accelerate. The change is simple. He used to carry the forearm back, now he lets it hang back. Watch the difference. Carrying it stiff, no room. Letting it drop, and the explosiveness is immediately different. Watch the elbow stay low and quiet, while the forearm just falls under its own weight. Nothing is holding it up. Then the body turns first, the legs push, and only after that does the forearm whip through into the ball. Contact happens at the peak of that release. The difference is obvious. And this matters in matches. You see an opening, you want to finish the point with one big loop. But if you can't produce the power, you end up straining the shoulder and the elbow. That's how injuries happen. So don't carry the forearm. Let it hang. Now that's the first point. The second is how you actually generate speed. Let me exaggerate it so you can see it clearly. Watch this. Very clear and very important. My feeling is this. It's like I'm going to hit someone. If you swing at them stiff like this, it doesn't hurt. But if you snap, that hurts. Same with the serve. I was teaching someone to chop the serve, and he couldn't get any spin. He was just forcing it, squeezing harder and harder, strangling the ball. I told him, when you chop, you need this snapping feeling. A whip has sequence, the base moves first, then the tip flicks through. Be the whip, not the stick. That whipping action is where the power comes from. Think of your arm as nunchucks. Let me show you with the real thing. If it were a solid stick, same effort in, you'd get the same speed out, nothing extra. But the nunchucks go through in a line, and the second section arrives much faster, because the joint lets it accelerate. A stick can only ever be moderate. The nunchucks are quick, and quick is what makes it hurt on the other end. That's ball quality. So treat your hand as the second section, the upper arm swings, and the forearm and hand snap through after it. Treat your body as the first section of the nunchucks, and your hand as the second. Watch, let it swing through, let it fly. That's the feeling of the power. But table tennis balls are light, so you can't swing them that loosely or the ball flies long. So what do? We shrink the time gap between the two sections. The swing and the snap get much closer together. Watch, the power releases in one shot. The sequence is still there, it's just very short. If you don't look carefully, you won't see it, but the order never disappears. Body first, then hand. The feeling is that the body starts, and the body carries the hand. Watch, the power comes out all at once, and that's when the speed is most concentrated. But body first doesn't mean coming apart. Then, when the ball comes, most of you start with the hand, and at best the hand drags a little bit of body along. That's why the body feels like it contributes nothing, because it can't. Try this next time. My hips and legs start first, moving me forward into the ball, and then the hand follows immediately. Watch, it follows fast. If you can't generate force, let the body go just that little bit first. Neither works. Without the body, your hand can never be fast. If the hand goes first, the body is left behind, and everything behind you drags on the shot. It interferes with both your power and your movement into the ball. Look carefully at this. Everyone who lifts the upper arm high is someone who isn't rotating the body. Every single one. They're using the arm alone. Think about the players at your club. Isn't that exactly what you see? The hand went first, the body couldn't catch up, so all that's left is arm. And that's exactly where the problem shows up. No power. You don't want to lift the upper arm, you want everything working together. Especially if you're smaller, not especially strong, or an older player, you have to borrow from the body. Think of a small cart pulling a big cart. If the small one goes first, it can't move the big one at all. It just flails. The big cart has to pull the small one. My body drags my hand. When the body is quick, the racket speed at the end is quick. That snap is what makes it fastest. After that, the second point is the distance between your body and your hand. Why do so many of you feel that final burst of acceleration just isn't there? Let me show you two versions. Here's the first. Here's the second. First. Second. I'm deliberately not putting either one on the table, because if the ball lands, you'd read the speed from the bounce instead of the arm. So which one is faster? Which ball would come off quicker under the same swing? Anyone still saying the first? That's exactly the problem at the club. you watch a stroke that isn't good, and you copy it without realizing. Your subconscious copies it, and worse, you become convinced it's right. So whether you're picking a coach or a practice partner, find someone whose technique is clean. That matters enormously. The second one is correct. Why? The nunchuck principle again. In the second version, the upper arm and forearm separate. In the first, they stay locked together as one piece. Look at the difference. In the first version, the upper arm and forearm move together, lifting as one unit. In the second, they separate. When it's time to separate, separate. Don't keep them glued together. Watch what's happening in the first one. How did your forearm get up there? The upper arm dragged it up. So remember the whole lesson: body first, hand second, and the arm working in two sections, never one.